What up, Bulls Nation? We've got a live CHGO Bulls podcast coming up for y'all right now. On today's show, is Nikola Vucevic actually the most important key to the Bulls winning game so far this season? And more thoughts about Vucevic's play from Billy Donovan yesterday. Also, updates from today's practice. Who is trending towards a return as soon as tomorrow night's game against Charlotte, and who is still out for a while. Speaking of Charlotte, are the Hornets and Pelicans must-win games for the Bulls given their current 7-game skid? And we'll take a look at what some of these rookies for the Bulls' weekend opponents have been up to so far this season. Next. What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into the CHGO Bulls podcast. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. CHGO Bulls, presented by Nikola Vucevic and Bet365. The delicious taste of victory deserves something equally superior. Cheer on your team with Nikola Vucevic. And download the Bet365 app. Use promo code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment is never ordinary at Bet365. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck. That's Big Day. Bam! BAWL Sports. Will the GOAT Gottlieb, Will_Gottlieb. Read his stuff, allchgo.com. New article that dropped today for the diehards. And for the second day in a row, Queen of the Controls, Sammy! What up, Sarah?
Day two.
Day two. Aren't you so thrilled?
Yes.
To produce 2 Bulls shows in the longest gap of games that they'll have all season, save for the All-Star break.
And guess what? I get to do... No, I'm off Friday.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
Are you producing postgame for us tomorrow night?
No.
Oh.
Never mind. Anyways.
Oh, don't tease us like that.
You're still welcome to come hang out.
That's true. You are.
Shout out, Bulls Nation. Thanks for joining us in that YouTube chat. If you are hanging out with us, hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. Sarah will remind you at some point, but best to do it now. Speaking of that delicious take to victory, shout out to Michelob. Am I allowed to drink one until the Bulls win their next game? Like, is that?
I think that's the only way you can kind of cope with some things.
Well, yeah. Again, sometimes a frosty Michelob can help. My Bulls fan sadness.
Yeah.
But it's like, do I qualify until the Bulls win again?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's a good question.
I think they don't qualify.
They don't qualify for Michelob Ultra yet.
Right.
But I think you do, sir.
Okay.
Because honestly, something's got to get you through.
Something does.
And why not the cold, crisp taste?
Why freaking not?
Michelob Ultra, baby.
I think he has ended up in the right spot there.
Yeah. Right there. The sweet spot of Michelob Ultra.
Speaking of ending up in the right spot, let's hope more Bulls players who have been on the shelf recently with various injuries are in the slot of available and active and playing tomorrow night. They had another team practice today after a rigorous practice yesterday to get ready for this Friday-Sunday weekend slate of games. What can you tell us? Is it true that Ayo and Herter won't even be traveling down to Charlotte for this game tomorrow night, and then whereas some players are trending towards playing in that game?
Yes, we spoke to Trey Jones today at practice. He said he will play tomorrow. Injury report came out, and I think he's listed as probable. Jalen Smith and Isaac Okoro also went through practice today. They are both listed as probable.
Okay.
But as you said, Matt, Ayo and Herter will not be traveling. So they're going to be out, and we'll see how those guys progress. But Herter was on the court doing some sprints and stuff today. Ayo has got the thumb brace, so that's not really affecting his conditioning or anything. We did see him doing some running, but I think it's going to be a little bit of time with those two.
I think it's great news, though, about Isaac Okoro, getting him back on the floor. Some semblance of a defensive player the Bulls are going to need, bro, for real.
And based on the description of the injury, I was starting to worry that it was like we were going to hear next Monday, like, oh, he's out for the season.
Yeah, very much so. I was very scared.
Yeah, that's just, a cynical Bulls fan who's been hurt too many times with misleading injury reports.
Fair.
I had no reason to believe that would, in fact, be the case other than it's Bulls injury report going to Bulls injury report.
Yeah, I'm with you. 100% was right there with you, sir. And just the fact that we heard nothing about it. But, again, good that he's back. They absolutely need that young man in their lineup. I don't care if he's starting or coming off the bench. They need him in the lineup. Somebody's got to provide that defense out there.
So, yeah, I mean, just real quick, because one of the things I asked Billy about today was like, how much is their failure to defend at a high level influencing their struggles on offense, which we talked about yesterday. And like, you know, I think it's a part of it. Billy was saying like that there's only a certain number of possessions that are per game that are coming as a result of transition, which I think is accurate. But they just, like the offensive rebounding that he provides, the cutting, the floor spacing, all this stuff that they do within the half court where they really are struggling. He's not somebody that's going to be like creating a lot. He's not somebody that's like really paid attention to on the 3-point line, but he is active. And I think that is something that this team has been missing over the last few weeks. So I don't know if he'll play tomorrow. The back injury, like, you know, last time we talked to Billy, or a couple days ago, it seemed like he was a little bit further away than it seems like he is now. Probable is a good sign, so we'll see. But I totally agree. Like, not only is the defense a problem without him, but then using that to get into transition, to be more motion heavy in the half court. Like, they really are missing him.
Yeah, very much so.
Speaking of Billy's words from practice, both yesterday and today, y'all can find right there in CHGO Bulls playlist on our YouTube channel the full interviews from Trey Jones and Billy Donovan today's practice, and then yesterday, Coby, Giddey, and Billy Donovan, who spoke at length at yesterday's practice. Shout out to Go for getting the video of those practice interviews. Shout out to Sarah Bear for getting those up on them YouTubes. They are all available for y'all to watch after today's show if you haven't gotten around to it yet. So speaking of Billy, he was talking about all kinds of things in yesterday's practice about what this team is going through right now. Also had some really interesting thoughts about Vuč.
Yeah.
One of the veteran leaders of the team called the team out after their last and most recent win before the 7-game skid about things not being sustainable, about people not doing the right things, building the right habits. And also himself has looked a little unplugged in some of their recent games with some subpar performances. We talked a little bit about it at the tail end of yesterday's show, but I know, Dave, you wanted to revisit that at the front end of today's show.
Yeah, just wanted to finish hearing what Billy had to say. In that clip he was saying, so he talked a little bit more about how, you know, to get Vuč more involved, and basically saying it's a whole kind of team thing.
We've got to do a better job finding him when he's open and doing some of those things. And there have been times in the game where he gets caught just changing ends of the floor and he's not involved as much as he needs to, where we need to recognize him a little bit more. So I feel like since all the injuries have happened, what's put a highlight on, in my opinion, is one, our margin for error, and quite honestly, collectively, there's got to be more desperation inside the group. I would put Vuč in there. I'd put them all in there. We all need to play that way. So I wouldn't just, you know, put it on Vuč. I mean, the other thing too is we have ended up, you know, like our pace of play is way down. That's not Vuč. I mean, that's us as a group. We got to run better. I mean, we've dropped from these last 10 games. We went from being like first or second in the league. It's everything, you know. And again, I think there can be excuses made about, well, you have a lot of guys out, guys are in different roles, with different responsibilities. You know, you've had to do this. That's great, but I've always said this, you know, your identity, regardless of who's in or out, should be there. It should be there regardless. And to me, those are controllable things. We can control how hard we run and how much pace we play with. And that's really our group. So I wouldn't put it all on Vuč. I would say it would be more, to me, as our whole entire team would need to raise that intensity level up to a different level, just because we just don't have those margins.
Just don't have those margins. How often have we heard Billy say that? Our guy Fish in the chat saying they've been saying this about getting Vuč involved for 4 years, have they not? And I think there is some truth to that, but I think it was different in the DeMar and Zach era of Vuč feeling a little, you know, disconnected from what the team was doing offensively. Because what the team was doing offensively was DeMar and Zach, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. And Vuč was sitting in the corner like, hey, I'm here too. We have seen spurts of this team operating with Vuč as one of the many pieces that keeps the ball moving and keeps the up-tempo offense up-tempo, but that has significantly regressed in this stretch of recent L's. Big Dave, what did you think about what Billy was saying there?
I mean, I don't disagree with him, and it made, you know, the gears start turning when I heard him say that, because, you know, Fisher's right. He talks about that a lot, getting Vuč involved, but before, like you stated, I could look directly at, okay, well, that's DeMar, okay, well, that's Zach, he's never really been a number 3 kind of guy. So he has to get kind of acclimated to that. And when he gets comfortable with that, then maybe we'll see, what he can do. And we did. When Vuce got kind of comfortable and acclimated to that, he was a better player. In this sense right now, it's different because you can call him the number 1 option or the number 2 option, you know what I'm saying, just depending on the night that it's happening. But what I did, Matt, was I went and dived further into it because Billy talked a lot about his involvement and getting him involved and how important it is to get Vooch involved. And I kept saying in my head, like, okay, what does that really mean, like trying to get him involved? And then I realized what he's saying is he impacts winning. Mm-hmm. And I think when it comes to impact, after the numbers I just saw, Vooch is the most important player on the Chicago Bulls.
Brace yourself, Bulls Nation.
When it comes to that, like Vooch is the most important player on the Chicago Bulls when it comes to impacting winning. I'm not talking about, the triple doubles. I'm not talking about the point, all of that. But when it comes to impacting winning, I don't think there's anyone more important. And so I went and got some numbers for you guys to look at, so we can kind of, so I can kind of showcase that. So let's take a look at Nikola Vucevic's numbers. Look at his numbers in the wins, guys. Like 20 points, 11 rebounds, 3.6 assists, which is awesome. 55% from the field and 43% from 3-point line. That is awesome stuff right there.
That's all-star Vooch.
I mean, that's all-star Vooch. When the Bulls lose and they are not winning, look at his numbers there. And again, I kept these very simple. 12.9, 8.4, 3.2, 42% from the field. And that 3-point percentage falls off a cliff down to 33%
Yikes.
From the 3-point line. That is all in losses. That tells me the absolute importance of Nikola Vucevic, getting him involved, as Billy's talking about, and allowing him to get those shots that he needs and running that offense kind of through him. Now, the other thing I wanted to look at, because I was like, well, let me get some variables here, and look at some other players that we talked about. We've heard our guy Matt brilliantly say for a long time about Josh Giddey that it's not about the numbers that Josh Giddey is putting up. It's about impacting winning. Mm-hmm. Does he impact winning? So I went and looked up Josh Giddey's numbers in wins and losses.
Dude, it's just real quick. I didn't know that you did that. Yeah. I literally just went to Giddey's wins, losses, splits page on Basketball Reference because I was curious.
He was already on it, man.
Oh, God.
Josh Giddey in wins, 20.8 points a game, 10 rebounds a game, about 9.1 assists, shooting 48% from the field and 47% from 3. That is outstanding. That is amazing stuff. Mm-hmm. Josh Giddey in a loss, 20 points a game, 9 rebounds, 8.7 assists, 46% from the field, 35% from 3. That's still pretty damn good numbers right there that he's putting up. So in wins or loss, obviously the 3-point shooting goes down, but look what it's going down to. It's down to basically an average. That's what you want him to be shooting on the season is 35% from the 3-point line. So the points are still there, the rebounds are still there, the assists are still there, and the impact on the field goal percentage and his shooting, all of that is still there.
It's wild. So, yes, not as efficient shooting from the floor.
Right.
And particularly, 35.5 is still respectable, but it's not 47% from 3.
No.
And the overall field goal percentage is only a few percentage points less in his losses compared to the W's. But his stat line essentially being almost identical.
Yes.
When you're talking points, rebounds, assists from Giddey and wins compared to losses. 9 wins, 12 losses.
Yes.
That is why I have always wondered how much this, near triple-double average that Bulls fans were getting really excited about post-All-Star break last season actually matters when it comes to winning and losing basketball games.
Well, I think the other side of that is that you could just say he's consistent.
Yeah.
He's playing to a certain level regardless of whether they're winning or losing. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Vooch hasn't been. And, I think a lot of times when guys miss shots, your team is not going to win. So, typically your splits may not look as good in wins and losses if the numbers are down. So that doesn't necessarily surprise me. But to me, it's more like, to your point, Dave, how do you get Vooch more engaged in those games? Because he is a dependent player. You can't just put the ball in his hands, inbound it to him, and let him run the whole offense.
Correct.
It's everybody around him. And he's a big piece of that too. He's got to produce. He's got to stay engaged. He's got to and we can talk more about that after the break. But, I think it's more of a dual partnership when you're talking about non-ball dominant players.
Yeah.
And to me, like, yes, the impact on winning piece for Giddey is a question mark still, especially now the way that the Bulls are playing. But I also think it's a positive that he has been so consistent.
And also, real quickly, just because I don't want to think people I'm picking on Gideon, we can look at Ayo Dosunmu's numbers real quick.
Yeah.
In wins, Ayo's 15.5 points a game, shooting 58% from the field and 45 from three. In the losses, 15 points a game, 48% from the field, 49% from three.
Wow.
So, like, it's still good. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
regardless of what he's doing, it's still really good and still impacting, the game. But the wins and losses, man, it seems like numbers-wise, it's truly, truly falling on Nikola Vucevic and what he is doing on the
The
basketball
Vuce
floor.
splits are striking, especially
Yeah.
when you compare him to some of the other players that you would deem to be like the crucial players on this roster right now.
Right.
All right, with that, let's knock out our first ad break. We'll come back on the other side, dive back into this and much more, including whether or not these upcoming weekend games are must-win for the 7-game losing streak Chicago Bulls. Your Chicago Bulls. Hit the like button. It's free. It'll cheer you up. We'll be right back.
You, ladies and gentlemen, can be good.
Okay.
It's a thing.
Sure.
It can happen.
Yeah.
You can also be great.
Better.
Takes a lot of work. No,
Sure
it's
does.
better. But if you want to be like Sarah Bear, you want to be ultra, ladies and gentlemen. Ultra! Only a few can get there, and you can get there as long as you got that cold, crisp taste of a Michelob Ultra, whether it's can or bottle. Once it hits those lips, it's full throttle. Michelob Ultra, the official American beer sponsor of your Chicago Bulls. The superior game meets the superior taste. Hey, what's going on, superior game? Want you to meet my good buddy, superior taste. How you doing? We are friends for life now. But Big Dave, what makes it ultra? So glad you asked me that. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. That's what does it. So no matter what you're playing for or what you're watching, make it superior with Michelob Ultra. You know what you need to do? Be ultra magnetic.
CHGO Bulls also brought to you by Bet365.
Bet.
And right now with their early payout offer, you're a winner if your football team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So download that Bet365 app with promo code CHGO365 when you sign up. Because when you do that, you're going to get $150 in bonus bets when you place your first $5 bet. That's it. Just $5. Win or lose that $5 bet, don't matter. You're getting that $150 in bonus dollars either way. And you can use those bonus bet dollars on just about everything. Spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Plus, they've got something for you every night of the football season. Thursday Night Football, $10 safety net bet. Sunday Night Football, a $365,000 jackpot. That's a lot of cheddar. What about Monday Night Football? 50% super profit boost token on same game parlays. You could double your winnings on parlays with Bet365's 100% parlay boost. So what are you waiting for? Download that Bet365 app. Use promo code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment is never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. We're back, CHGO Bulls. We're rolling along on Thursday afternoon. Peck, Big Dave, Goat, Sarah Bear hanging out with us on the controls. And you, our fellow Bulls fans, hit that like button. If you didn't do it during the ad break, let us now take the temp. Taking the Temp is brought to you by our friends at Four Seasons, your trusted local experts at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com. Curious to take the temp of the chat and whether or not y'all out there in Bulls Nation think that there is something to Vooch play well, Bulls win. Vooch play poorly, Bulls lose. Regardless of who else is doing what out there on the floor.
Yeah.
Thomas in the chat just saying, I've always said Vooch's offense makes up for his lack of defense, but when he plays bad offensively, his defense becomes a glaring problem.
Without a doubt.
Goat, during that ad break just now, you were telling Dave and I some interesting numbers regarding Vooch and the Bulls team's numbers, offensive and defensive rating-wise, when he's on and off the floor. Would you care to share them?
Yeah, but I closed the tab, so let me find it again.
Tab closer.
Never close
I didn't
the
realize we were
tab.
going to talk about it. Okay, so it was the on-off, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
So, yeah, with Vooch on the court this year, the Bulls' offensive rating is 111.9. Their offensive rating with him off the court is 115.9. So 4 points per 100 worse with Vooch on the court. And yet the defense is exactly the same. It's 118.5 with him and 118.5 without him. Now, as we've talked about with this team in particular, the strength being the depth and the second unit and not the first unit.
Right.
You're comparing these teams against who they're playing, right? So the starters are playing against oftentimes starters. Sure. The bench is playing against the bench. And so, like, if the Bulls are under-talented relative to their opponents with their starting lineup, then it makes sense that they wouldn't be able to score as well. But if their bench is better than other teams' benches, then it would make sense that they do better compared to other teams' benches. So I don't know how much weight to put into that. And I can look at, like, last year's, for example, with Vuč, was offensive rating 115.7 with him, 113.1 without him. So it was better. But I wonder how much of that is, like, here to stay, how much of that is just flukiness being so early on in the season, and how much of it is, like, something that the Bulls need to be considering because he's 35 years old and, like, he's had some really great moments. He's won them 3 games single-handedly at the end, but, bigger picture questions apply.
Just debate my man Matty Legend with the amazing name.
Legend.
Saying Vuce can score 25 and we still lose. That's simply just not true. There's not been any game this year where he has scored 25 points and the Bulls have lost the game. Like, if Vuce scores over 25, the Bulls win. That's how it has gone and how it's happening. He scored 27. He scored 28 in that Washington game. Like, even the first
needed
game,
every single one of them.
Dude, first game of the year against Detroit.
Yeah, that was a 28-10 game.
28-point game, man. Like the game against the Knicks when he dropped 26. Like, yeah, when Vuce gets to that level, at least so far this season, when he gets over 25 points and has those kind of games, the Bulls have been in good shape. And
4-0 with Vuč scoring 26 or more. They have lost 2 games this year in which he's scored 20. One of those was the double overtime game against the Jazz. The other was the most recent game against Orlando. And then every other game that he has played, he's scored less than that. But in the games where he has only scored single digits, the Bulls are 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So getting him involved, getting him to be a real piece of the offense, not only in terms of scoring but the facilitation.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of how this team wins and loses.
Yeah.
Ryan Fraley in the chat saying Vuč's defensive BPM isn't great for what it's worth, but there are worse defenders on the team. I would agree. You can say many of them exist in that, when healthy, ideal starting lineup of your Chicago Bulls, like the Coby Giddey backcourt. It's just one person's opinion. Chicago Bulls all day in the chat saying, did you guys notice when we started struggling? It's the first and third quarters during Vuč's minutes. That is also described as the Bulls starting units minutes. And I think that the talent deficiency of this team's roster compared to most across the league is why their starters have been getting worked. And when the bench plays well and they are at their healthiest and their bench is deep, the bench has winning minutes and wins those plus-minus battles on the floor against their counterparts. It's not just a Vuč problem. It's a Bulls roster isn't very good. Therefore, most nights their starters get worked by their opponents problem.
Yeah.
It's, fair to disagree with that take if you like, but pretty sure it's the accurate one.
And that's exactly what Billy has been saying this entire year. It was mentioned multiple times in the clip that we just played. They don't have the margin for error that these other teams have. That's code for we're not as talented as these teams, and so we can't afford to not play to our identity.
Yeah.
I wrote just a whole thing about all of the stuff where Billy has been, like, not calling out the Bulls because he's not, like, sitting here saying, this guy's not playing hard enough or this guy's not executing. Like, he's identifying key issues that the team is falling short, key areas where the team is falling short. But it's like the list is piling up. I mean, he's saying the decision-making when you get into the paint is not good enough, and that's contributing to the poor rim finishing. The team is not getting out in transition the way that they need to. The team is not paying enough attention to the details, and that's what's getting them beat. They're not boxing out. It's like all these things are accumulating, and what is the end result of that? The team is just not as talented as they need to be if they want to come in and just think they can win against any of these teams. And I thought the quote from yesterday that Billy had to the media in terms of what like how the team compares to other teams was like the most kind of surprising and jarring, which was that he said, like, let me see if I can find it here real quick.
Searching through the
he said, people want to sit there and say, well, you lost to New Orleans. They've got a bad record. Indiana, bad record. I don't think we're any different than those teams. We got to play really, really well to win every single night. We're not gifted to just walk in there, and if we show up, we're going to win games. Like, he's saying we're on par with the 3-win Pelicans. We're on par with the 4-win 5-win, whatever it is, Indiana Pacers, all 3 losses that the Bulls have played this year.
Not good.
I don't know how much more clear you can be about this roster is not talented enough to not compete every night.
Yeah. And Timothy Jones in the chat saying, bro, y'all lazy with the analysis. Putting a shot blocker in the paint will improve everyone's defense. Not sure if you mean y'all, us, or y'all, other people in the chat. And Bulls all day saying we got to build around the younger guys, not Vuč. To be clear, I don't think anyone sitting up here is arguing that Vuč is this team's most important player and should be when it comes to wins versus losses so far.
Yeah.
We're highlighting it's not great that a 30-something, 34 going on 35-year-old veteran who many wonder why is he still here is this vital when he plays well versus when he doesn't to your team winning or losing on any given night.
Correct.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
It is not an argument for Vuč needing to be sticking around and building around him. Right. Obviously not.
Yeah.
You're not building around a all-star is in his past 35-year-old center who has clear defensive issues.
Yeah.
No one's arguing that.
Not one person.
Just pointing out that it's like, yo, when Vuč balls, the Bulls win. When he doesn't, they lose. That's a bad thing.
Yeah, yeah.
For your current roster construction.
Yeah. And also at the same time, like, Billy is correct in saying we got to get him more involved. Like, we can't, because again, like you said, he's not going to create it for himself. Like, he's a big man. You got to get him the basketball. You've got to move that basketball around and get it to him so he can run that offense like he does from, free throw line extended, 3-point line extended, however he wants to get in the post or do it however he wants to do it. If you're trying to win games, you're going to have to utilize that young man and get him more involved. And Vuč is not the kind of center who you can just say, okay, we'll pick and choose what time we're going to allow you, to do your thing. He's got to touch the ball, man. Like, to get the best out of him, he has to feel like he's involved and connected with those guys out there because he's really good with his vision on the floor and finding the open players, finding the cutting players, knowing where people have to be. They have to utilize all of that if we're talking about winning and being a winning team and winning some of these games. And in these past 7 games, that just honestly has not been the case for the Bulls and Nikola Vucevic. So they've got to get back to that. And I don't want to take it away from what the opposing team is doing also. I think they're doing a good job on denying Vuč the ball, on making things a little harder on him and things like that. But still, in fact, he's got to get more attempts at the rim. He's got to get more opportunities to touch the basketball and be more involved with the team, whether you want to run him more with the starters, whether you want to run him more with the bench, man. But he's got to be involved more some kind of way.
Ogle family in the chat said, yeah, Vuč needs to be the one to take a seat, put defense down there to help our other players that are not the best on D. Getting a 35-year-old vet involved is crazy. He should get himself involved. Meanwhile, our guy Clem, a.k.a. French Bulls fan, saying, Vuč would be less exposed defensively if anyone in our backcourt could stop a drive. Get a body in the middle instead of just watching. Coby, Giddey, stop watching and play defense. Again, I think that's the crux of it. It's like Vuč is exposed and has never been a rim-protecting big.
Yeah.
So in the past, when Billy Donovan and the Bulls have found out ways to make respectable defenses, I think Billy's got 1, maybe 2 top 10 defenses on his Bulls head coaching resume.
Which is wild.
I'm not saying that that's all credit to Billy.
Yeah, still wild.
Some credit to his staff and the players for doing so. With Vuč as your starting center, who plays a lot of minutes, plays somewhere between 75 and 82 games. Those seasons happened. The Bulls being a top 10 defense with Vuč as their starting center who plays 33 minutes a night.
Right.
It's about the other pieces involved, not just one guy.
Yeah.
And it's not Vuč is the only person we've said that about. We've also said that about, hey, AK, good try. You couldn't fix your team's broken defense by trading for Isaac Okoro. Guess what? It didn't work. It's not about one guy.
Yeah.
You need more defensive talent everywhere on the floor.
And shout out to my man Dreads in the comment who had a comment for me. I just saw right there. You just went past it. Yeah, right there. Vuč has to demand the ball, too. You can't force him to play and use him when you clearly see him not wanting to even play, Dave. Well, one, Vuč is a 35-year-old vet. Like, he's not going to change his stripes right now. He's not a guy who just, give me the goddamn ball. Like, he's not, Kevin Garnett or somebody in that kind of way. And two, when you see a guy is not getting involved, it's up to your teammates to do that. That's the job, of getting him involved. When you know that he's that vital and that important to him, and you see him, even if you see him sulking or you see him mad with that, Well, then you find a way to fix that on the floor. You just don't let him continue to do that, because the numbers show when he's more involved, when he's scoring more and doing more things, you win. You're a better basketball team. So you can't just let him just sit there and keep pouting about it. No, you go get him the basketball, and let's see if it can work this time. That didn't work. Let's run it again. See if we get him the basketball. That is how you have to do it. You know, he's not going to do it himself. He's not bringing the ball up. He's not Joker. He's not bringing the ball up himself and picking and choosing where he gets involved. You have to get him involved in the game. That's how you have to do it.
With that, let's knock out another ad break. We'll come back on the other side and dive into that big question of, are these must-win games for the Bulls this weekend? Early in the season to say that, but a fair question, I think, when the team is on a 7-game losing streak and you're playing some more bum teams that you've already failed to beat this season. Hit that like button if you didn't do it during the first ad break. We'll be right back. The like button's free. CHGO Bulls is brought to you by Aura Frames. The holiday shopping season is here. Maybe you're looking for that perfect gift for the special someone in your life. You got to check out these digital frames, y'all. It's the answer to every holiday gifting moment. Never struggle again to find the perfect holiday gift. When you get yourself or one of your loved ones an Aura frame, you can have unlimited free photos and videos downloaded to that Aura frame just using the downloaded Aura app and connect to Wi-Fi. You can even preload photos before it ships if you are sending it to somebody you won't be spending the holidays with but want to send them something that'll make them smile. You can keep adding to Aura frames digitally from anywhere, anytime. You can also personalize your gift and add a message to it before it arrives. Share photos and videos effortlessly straight from your phone all year long. And for a limited time, save on the perfect gift by going to auraframes.com and getting $35 off with promo code CHGO at checkout. That's Aura, A-U-R-A, frames.com, promo code CHGO.
I've come in here many, many times and talked about one of my favorite budgeting apps, or I should just say my favorite budgeting app out there, and that is Monarch. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. They let me know when my check has come in. They let me know when I'm going over budget. They'll be like, hello, here's a little ring-a-ding-ding on your email. Sir, you're over budget on the gas. You're over budget on the Uber Eats, sir. And they let me know. And also, if you have investments or if you just want to create yourself your own budgeting plan for each single month or for the entire year, it is amazing for all those things, man. It will let you know what you are spending from each year and how it compares to the next year. It is the absolute best. You should be using this, y'all, and you can get control over your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code CHGO at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code CHGO.
We back. CHGO Bulls rolling along on Thursday. Thanks for being here with us, Bulls Nation. Hit the like button if you didn't do it during the ad break. Before we dive into our next topic, just a reminder that we dropped some fresh new hats. Always dropping fresh merch. Shout out our homegrown CHGO Boozy shirt. I went to get one earlier today. Sold out. So we'll restock them and let y'all know when they're back in stock. But shout out to everybody who grabbed one of those. I'm guessing a lot of them flew off the shelves during our Black Friday to Cyber Monday sale.
Yeah.
Dope design. And yeah, shout out to everybody who already kept one of those. But we do have new hat designs available as well. You see those ones in the middle of the CHGO script with some bull's horns, hawk's feathers. They are dope. I already ordered each of those. Can't wait for them to arrive and add to my hat collection.
Hello. Welcome home.
Dave, you're a big hat guy, just like me.
I am a big hat guy.
Of the new 4 designs we have, the new 4 designs we have, which one's your fave?
The Blackhawks one, I love.
Yeah.
Because I love, the feathers on the end, very subtle, just a nice nod to it, like tip of the cap to you as well, Miss Corningstone. And then I also like the flag.
Yeah.
I love that one. I think that one is super, super dope, bro.
I already bought that one. It is on its way.
It's
there you go.
On the way.
On the way.
To Sarah Bear's head. It's
and then I might have thrown in a couple hoodies here and there, too, on our
toss
lovely
that in?
CHGO
Oh, you got
locker.
to.
CHGO
hoodies.
Yeah.
Why not?
The best.
It's important. It's necessary.
All right, y'all. Next question.
Buy me.
Yes, that's right. There's the link right there in the chat for you to our merch store. Are these must-win games for the Bulls? They are a team that started 5-0, 6-1, have now dropped, 3 of their last 13, 4 of their last 14.
Something like that.
Or I'm sorry, strike that, reverse it, have only managed to win 3 of 13, 4 of 14. Is it a must-win game? tomorrow, is it a must-win game Sunday? They have already lost to the Hornets this season. They've already lost to the Pelicans this season, two of the lesser teams in the league. I think it depends on your perspective, but I think it's fair for some to, based on their expectations, say, yes, they are must-win games. Dave, what do you think?
And I'm basing this on how they are running their team.
Yes.
And what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, 100%. This is a must-win weekend. Not one game, both of them. These are must-win games.
You need
for the Chicago
2-0.
Bulls. You need
not a split.
You crave, you desire, you got to have 2-0. A split, no, it's not good enough. Sure, you'll take it, but it's not good enough. You've got to have a good showing in both of these games. You are playing against teams record-wise that you're better than.
Yeah.
You're playing against teams. One of them is 12th in the East, and the other one is 15th in the West. That's dead last. They have 3 wins. One of them came against you. You have to win these games. There's no excuse with this. Yes, they got healthy. They got healthier. They're getting some players back. All that's awesome and great. You have to go and win these basketball games against these teams. You can't come out flat. You can't come out without that effort. All of that has to be shown. You've had the time off. You had the practice. You heard what Billy had to say about it. You know what you need to do. You have to get out there and do the damn thing, period. That's it. There's nothing else to it, Matt. Like, they have to win these games, and it is set up for them to get these victories. And I've thought about both sides in my head. Like, what is that going to look like if they, win these games and if they lose these games? The Bulls lose and go on a 9-game losing streak, and
only one more to 10.
I'm just saying, bro.
And the next opponent they have next week is what? Cavs on Wednesday, right?
That will also mean 4 of your losses have come against, Charlotte and the Pelicans. Like,
6 of your losses have come against those two and the Pacers.
Yes. So what are we doing? You know what I mean? So real legit questions are gonna have to be asked, and not assuming they're gonna be answered, but they're gonna have to be asked, and asked super loud, super duper loud, if they do not come out with a win in both of these games over this weekend. Man, they have got to win both of these games.
Go.
So I asked Coby this yesterday, and he said, that's not really how they're thinking about it. He said, really, it's more about, can we get back to playing with the right habits that we were playing with earlier on in the season? And I think that's, a good answer.
Sure.
But I think that's also, the player perspective.
Correct.
From the outside perspective, I think you could look at it 2 different ways. Number one is, if you are in the camp of, the Bulls should tank this year and go to the bottom, then the answer is no, these are not must-win games.
Correct.
They're must-lose games.
Yes.
Because these are the teams that you're playing against. If you're in the camp of, they need to make the playoffs by any means necessary, then absolutely these are must-win games. This one, the injury report is out. Hornets PR posted that LaMelo Ball, Pat Connaughton, Trey Mann, Colin Sexton, and Grant Williams are all out. Diabate is questionable. So, this is going to be a light team in terms of their injury stuff. The Bulls should have most of their guys ready to go, except for Herter and Io. They are in a position where they should absolutely win. And then, you mentioned the schedule looking ahead. You have these 2 makeup games for the schedule being you have to get those extra games from the NBA Cup. Mm-hmm. They were gifted these 2 really low-level opponents in Charlotte and then New Orleans. And then after that, you've got 2 against Cleveland, 2 against Atlanta. So that's 4 more games against playoff teams. You've got Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Minnesota through December 29th. Then you've got another game against New Orleans, Orlando, Charlotte again. Mm-hmm. They played New Orleans and Charlotte 3 times each before January 4th.
Crazy.
And then you're Boston, Detroit, Miami, Dallas, Houston. It's it doesn't get any easier here. Yeah. And so you just have to get out of this rut if you are trying to win games. And if you're not, then that's fine too. But it's just a different outlook.
Yeah, agreed.
So GOAT presented the depends on which side of the coin you're looking at. Both arguments there. Dave, you said they are absolutely must-win games.
Yeah, looking at it from the one side of
correct.
What AK says
from that side.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the reality from a Bulls fan who is fed up already midway through December, because I'm pretty much fed up all the time with this joke of an organization.
Hit him with the ISO can, baby.
It's not just that they aren't must-win games. it's not a hot take for me to say right now, they are must-lose games. If you're a Bulls fan who wants bigger problems fixed than them losing to the bum teams they keep losing to, you need certain eyes who never look at whether the Bulls win or lose on any given night to start looking. And losing repeatedly to the bottom feeders of both conferences might finally do that, coinciding with Bulls fans saying, I've had enough. I'm not showering my family with gifts that are from the Bulls merch store this season. I'm not treating my Bulls-loving family members to a trip out to the madhouse when everybody's home for the holidays. We ain't doing that to go watch this bum-ass team. If you want real change that comes only from certain people paying attention to the Bulls sucking out loud, these aren't must-win games, y'all. These are must-lose games. It's got to get worse before it gets better for real.
Preach. Those are facts, ladies and gents. Preach it up, Matt Peck, ladies and gents, because he's right.
Stack them L's.
The failure has to be loud. Like, it's got to scream. You know what I mean? It has to be loud for people to actually hear it and then decide to, make a change about what they want to do. But those are facts. And that's why you want the implosion and not just a whimper. Like, you want it loud, bro. Like, the failure has got to be loud. And when we had this discussion, I continued to bring up the Chicago Bears and why people were mad about the Thanksgiving game. I was excited. I was like, no, this is how it has to be. It's got to be loud. Like, people have to see it crumble in front of their face for them to say, you know what, I think we need a new building. Like, because if you're not there and you don't feel the impact of it, you're not going to do anything. So, yeah, and you saw what happened. The Bears did something they had never done in their history of existence, which was fire a head coach before the season was over. But that's what it's done. Matt is 100% correct if you're looking from that perspective.
And it's crazy to think about the fact that, around this time a year ago, I was stomping my armrests and throwing things and saying, for the love of God, this team.
A year ago.
A year ago and 2 years ago and 3 years ago.
In addition to
a week ago.
All of the years that I've done this.
Matt, do you see this new TV we have?
Don't you worry. You're welcome, everyone. I got us a new TV for Studio A.
Shout out to the retired hat.
It's about, a year ago to me, it was for the love of God, this team needs high-end draft lottery talent.
Yeah.
You need a top 5 pick kind of talent. And a lot of Bulls fans disagree with that notion. Okay, fine. I still think that. But to me, now, looking at, let's keep getting these L's, it's not even as much. Of course, I still think this team needs high lottery level talent.
Sure.
There's a lot of names at the top of this, upcoming 2026 NBA draft class that I would love to draft and draft at the top to try to add some talent to this team that is desperately lacking in that important thing called talent. But now, to me, it's just as important, if not more so, when you're talking about ping pong balls and lottery odds and chances of landing one of those top picks, as it is about getting certain people who ignore whether or not this team is actually winning and being taken seriously around the league to start paying attention.
Yeah. That,
to me, is just as important as lottery balls and draft lottery night odds when it comes to L's.
Yeah.
Because I'm sick of the people who own this team not giving a damn about any of it. And how many other teams would have dismissed this executive front office already and a while ago?
Yeah.
But not the Bulls. Yeah, here's another chance. Would you like an 11th or 12th or 13th chance to build a roster that goes nowhere? Have at it. We believe in you. No. Let's get really, really freaking bad. Maybe then certain people will pay attention.
I totally agree. I think that's actually more important because at this point, the most likely outcome is that, they win these 2 and then everything's back to normal. Everything's fine. And they're just flying under the radar, just 3 games under 500, as Matt likes to say, where they always live. And
sweet spot, baby.
And then nothing changes. I do think that
Nana in Papa's living room.
Yeah. I mean, if you're serious about trying to get this team to do something different, I do think you're absolutely right that both of you, that you need to experience and see something happening that's terrible in order to shake things up. Yeah. The problem is you have 8 to 10 teams every year that are actively tanking that you can fatten up on. And then you have the portion of the schedule where you can really, rattle off some wins and then everything appears to be fine, even though we all know 3 games under 500 is not a place you want to be. Losing in the play-in is not the place you want to be. But because of the way that it works in the league relative to the rest of these teams, everything seems fine. And that's how the mediocrity cycle continues.
Yes. Painting over mold. House is what it is.
On that uplifting note, we got to knock out one last ad break. When we come back on the other side, we'll wrap up today's show with a look ahead to some of the young talent that is doing solid things for both the Hornets and Pelicans so far this season. Hit that like button. Now's your last chance. It's free. CHGO Bulls is brought to you by Eye on the Ball. All right, athletes, listen up. Are you serious about leveling up your game? Because the right coach can change everything. And now, finding one is easy with Eye on the Ball. It doesn't matter if you're a kid just starting out, shout out to my niece who loves playing soccer, or competing at the top level. You can sign up totally free at eyeontheball.net. Create your profile, search through coaches in your sport, in your area, connect directly with the one that's right for you. From soccer to swimming, baseball to basketball, you name it, the coaches are there waiting for you. So what are you waiting for? Your future coach could be one click away. Your Tibbs, your Phil Jackson. Jump on today at eyeontheball.net. That's I-E-Y-E, on the ball, B-A-L-L.net. Find your coach and take your game to the next level.
Ray Chevrolet, Ray! 'Tis the season for some savings. La 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 at Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake with hot deals all month long during their year-end sales event. Stop in today and drive home with $0 down and 0 payments until March on all new Chevy models. Or check out their selection of over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. With one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories, you're sure to find the perfect vehicle for yourself. And as one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, they're able to keep their prices competitive, so you know you're going to get a great deal. Plus, that raised price promise, y'all, lets you shop confidently because the price you say is the price all y'all gonna pay. So go see it for yourself. Visit our partner at their convenient location right on Route 12 in Fox Lake, and don't miss out on their year-end sales event going on all month for $0 down and 0 payments until March on all new Chevy models. Shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or RayChevrolet.com because they've been serving that community.
Since when?
Since 1963. Together, let's try.
All right, we're back. CHGO Bulls hanging out. Last thing on today's agenda is taking a look at this pair of weekend matchups the Bulls have. First, with going to Charlotte again to play the Hornets tomorrow night. And Big Dave, you were doing a little digging on some of the numbers of not just Knueppel, but another rookie who is producing for the Hornets. And yes, they're not a team with a zillion wins, 2 fewer than the Bulls as of today. But young guys producing is young guys producing when you compare it to the Bulls and their lack of that right now.
Absolutely true. But let's start with my man Con, though, because I love some Con Knueppel. Goat knows this for sure. I talked about him a ton in the draft. When they drafted him, I said he is the culture changer for this team. That's exactly what he comes in to be, and we can show those numbers there. This is what he's doing right now. This is how you change a culture, ladies and gentlemen. The 18 a game, the 5 rebounds, the 3 assists, but the 40, 90, the 45, I should say 45, 40, 90 that he's doing is absolutely insane. Leads all rookies in points per game and 3-pointers made. That means that dude can shoot that thing right there. And he's got that fire, and he's got that motor, and he's got that leadership thing about him, man, that I just absolutely love. Like, I think he is just a culture changer for that team, and I think those teammates are definitely going to start following him. And one of those teammates, as you mentioned, Matt, Ryan Kalkbrenner. Oh, the Kalk. Stay up on him, man.
Load up that Kalk gun.
When the Bulls played him, I still remember the blocks he had. He had 3 blocks in that game. The 9 points, the 6 rebounds, the damn near 80% from the field is crazy. And
those are Gafford numbers, buddy.
No, I mean those are Gafford numbers. You better believe it. Will Chamberlain, Daniel Gafford, Ryan Kalkbrenner. The 1.9 block, basically 2 blocks a game. Again, leads all rookies in rebounds per game and in blocks per game. He has been outstanding, and watch how they play together on the floor, on both sides of the floor. They know where each other needs to be, and watching him defensively is honestly really fun to watch. That young man, it's not just the blocks that he gets, it's the timely blocks that he gets for his team, man. So they've got a really bright future, and it's built around not just those two, but Zion James also as well. I think it's great. Will's guy, Brandon Miller, has also been playing well. So, yeah, man, like I like what they're doing, and it just feels like a culture shift when you can have that kind of leadership and that kind of talent on that team, especially led by Knueppel.
If I had to select my guy on the Hornets team, it would definitely not be
Brandon Miller.
Really?
It would be Knueppel,
Okay.
who I was also very high on.
Yes.
Yeah, Con's been great. I'm very interested to see how they play without. I mean, 3 of their point guards are going to be out tomorrow: Sexton, LaMelo, and Trey Mann. Like, are they going to put the ball in Con's hands a little bit more and let him run it? How is that going to look? Very curious to kind of see how that goes. But Kalkbrenner's also been really solid for them.
Yeah.
I think I had him as like an early second round pick, late first, because he's just like such good touch around the rim. What's interesting about him, you guys mentioned Gafford, it's not like he's just like catching lobs and running pick and rolls and just dunking everything. Like, a lot of it's just really soft touch. He's almost a below the rim player, and he's still able to finish at such a high level. So I'm a big fan of his. He's an elite rim protector. Kind of gives you some Walker Kessler vibes in that way, but just incredibly efficient and really talented at just like cleaning up the mess. So I think you're absolutely right, Dave, to say that they have like some foundational pieces. I think they're still very much looking for their, star guy, face of the franchise. We don't know what's going to happen with LaMelo, whether they're going to keep him or try to move him. Miles Bridges is also in the mix there, but they've definitely got something cooking. And I think it just starts with like hitting on draft picks. You see the importance of hitting on early second round picks. Like, I don't mean to like disparage Julian Phillips. He just hasn't really worked out so far in terms of like being a productive player, but he was drafted 37th overall. Kalkbrenner was 34.
Yeah.
Zion James was 33.
Yeah.
Like, you can get guys in the early second round, and hitting on those really can make a difference in accelerating things for your franchise.
What would you say that Knueppel, like in the early gate, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, is Knueppel going to win Rookie of the Year?" Because everybody was looking towards Cooper Flagg and some of those other more marquee names of this draft class. And dude, Cooper Flagg has put up some monster games recently,
Dumb numbers.
But I still think when you consider it, Knueppel absolutely should still be maybe not at the very front of that conversation, but one of the top 2 or 3 with the way he's producing.
Sure. He absolutely is too. I believe he was 1 last week, and I think he's 2.
I know he had moved up a lot in like all kinds of draft books as far as their odds for who's winning Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
Knueppel like moved into first in most of them.
Yeah, he's definitely up there, man. And also it's Cedric Howard in the top 5.
But one pick away.
Just go toss it in there. Just go toss
Not
it
to
in.
say the Bulls
that's
were
how it is. But
taking him if he was on the board.
But no, that's what it is. But right now, yes, I'm right. Right now, Cooper's number 1, Con is number 2, and Cedric Howard is number 4. And another gentleman that we're going to get into a little later is at number 3, there on that list.
Who would that be, Dave?
Oh, we take it to the queen. All hail the queen. And young Derik Queen. Those are the numbers you see, ladies and gentlemen, that he is putting up. Almost 13 points a game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. The field goal percentage, the 3-point shooting, leading all rookies in free throws made because he gets fouled and gets to the line.
And shout out to a rookie for shooting nearly 80% from the free throw line.
For real.
Who's not a guard.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, a rookie who's a center, like doing that or power forward, however you want to say it. But I have him as a center playing that. He has just been awesome, okay? And again, a culture changer for that franchise and that organization. They needed somebody like this. They thought they had it in Zion. His body has betrayed him on so many years. And Derik Queen has definitely been the guy to come in and to stabilize things for them and to give that city that level of hope that they have somebody. This is what Joe Dumars wanted when he went up and he made that trade for that young man. He saw it, man. He was like, he's going to be the one. And that's what he's been for him, man. And he fits in well with how they play, with the players that are around him. And when you got guys like Herb Jones and Grand Theft Alvarez out there with him, like, they just can be a really fun team. And I know the record is what it is, but for the future of what that team can be, man, like, it's some real fun stuff that can be happening right there in New Orleans.
And I think they really, like, obviously with the trade, they really need him to hit too. And I
Yeah.
think what's interesting is, like, they could have taken him at 7 if they liked him so much.
Yeah.
So they clearly are also extremely high on Fears, who's been awesome as well.
He has.
But, like, yeah, I think Queen hitting kind of opens up some new doors for them to explore in terms of their future and their team build. Like, you can move off of Zion probably because those guys are kind of similar in terms of overlapping skill sets. You can maybe try to get a haul for Herb Jones now or Trey Murphy and move forward around Fears and Queen. It would help if they had a pick in this upcoming draft, but
Wouldn't hurt.
maybe they can turn some of their guys into more picks and build that way. So I'm not, like, saying I think that was a good trade for them. I don't. I think it was a bad process. They could have at least protected it. Like, it was a bad trade. But I do think that just because it's an example of just because a player works out doesn't mean the process was necessarily right.
And also, just to say it, number 5 on the rookie ladder is the aforementioned Jeremiah Fears. Yeah. It's number 5 on that rookie ladder, averaging 15, 3, and 3. So over this weekend, you're going to face 4 of the top 5 rookies in the NBA. That's what's going to happen. You still got to win, baby.
And look, while the Hornets are a struggle-bussing team,
Yes.
they got 7 wins. The Pelicans are one of 2 teams in the league, the other being the Wizards, that have 3. They're 1-10 or 1-9 in their last 10 games. That one win, was that the one that was not too long ago when they beat the Bulls? Would that be their most recent W? And look, Zion went off in that game.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing to me that I'll be
Zion
curious
went
about. Both of these games, but especially the Pels. I can't remember. What did they surrender to Charlotte? 100 and something. 123 to 116.
Yes.
Okay, right? They gave up 143.
They did.
To the Pelicans.
They did.
We have been watching this Bulls defense just circle the drain. They're 2/3 of the way down the drain. They're not circling it. This Bulls defense is a joke. And you gave up 143 to, I think, at the time the Bulls and Pelicans played that recent game, the Pelicans came into that game as the league's 28th ranked offense as far as efficiency. And you let them score 143 points on your bum ass. Can you respond on the defensive end in any way against either of these teams? But for the love of God, for the sake of any pride you might have, do the Bulls remember that you gave up 143 points to, at the time, a 2-win team.
And that Pelicans game, like, Queen barely played in the second half. Zion
Right,
was just
17
hosting
minutes.
them. He's been out and will be out for a couple more weeks here with the adductor. But the key for me in that game, just thinking about, like, what happened was the offensive rebounding. Like, Yves Missy was destroying them on the offensive glass. They couldn't get a rebound. And when you can't get a rebound, you can't get out in transition. When you can't get out in transition, it really shines a light on how, lackluster this team's offense is, especially in the half court. So I think the defensive rebounding to me this year has just been such an area where they need to improve. And it's not like they've been terrible, but there are games where they just, like, they can't get the Donovan Clingan game comes to mind, where it's just like it completely takes you out of the identity that they're trying to play to. And I think it's just impossible to win if they're giving up 15, 20 offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what Billy does rotation-wise in these games, because we're hopefully going to get some pieces back. We'll wait and see what the official injury report is tomorrow. But we've got a probable for Trey Jones, as we mentioned at the top, right, Goat?
He said he's playing.
You said so. Trey's playing tomorrow. Maybe a minute's restriction, but Trey's playing. And I think of anybody, they probably miss Trey Jones the most.
Yes.
If I'm being honest.
Oh, without a doubt.
And you might see Jalen Smith back out there. He's missed a stretch of games. You might even see Isaac Okoro out there tomorrow.
I'm excited to see him.
Will that potentially help their defense? We'll see.
It needs to.
But again, then
hurt.
it's just like, okay, who has Billy been leaning on recently, and how might minutes allotment change? Can the Bulls go back to being a team that relies on their bench as a strength?
Right.
If their starting unit struggles.
Good point.
Before we get out of here, just another reminder that our next Papa Shot Showdown is taking place a week from tomorrow. That would be Friday, December 19th. Right down the street with our pals at Rinaldi's here in the West Loop of Chicago, 1326 West Madison Street at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. That is an hour's worth of hangout and Bulls talk and Bulls takes before their 6:30 tip-off against the Cleveland Cavaliers that night. We'll hang out. We'll have a Papa Shot Showdown.
Go.
We'll do some talking. some goating.
Some goating, baby.
And then watch some Bulls hoops together with y'all. No need to get a ticket. It is a free event. Just show up. No need to RSVP, but let us know on Twitter and the YouTube chat in that diehard Discord if you're planning on coming out. So we'll know to keep an eye out for you. And we hope to see as many of y'all there as we can. The last one we did out in the burbs last week was a lot of fun.
It was. Come
Shout out to Michelob.
Come hang out, baby, at Rinaldi's and go against this guy right here.
I think
touch.
I've decided on the question I asked y'all and myself at the top of today's show, I will have a couple of Michelobs while watching that game tomorrow night.
Okay.
Before we know whether the Bulls will win or lose.
Okay.
Because I deserve that.
You do.
The Bulls might or might not deserve some Michelobs to treat themselves with after the game.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You deserve to be ultra.
And you know what? I need to be mellowed out.
Yeah.
This team has really pushed my buttons recently.
Don't smooth it out, baby.
But hey, guess what? Spoiler alert, I already spoiled it. Rooting hard for an L tomorrow. So some people might wake the F up and pay attention to the miserable failure that's going on around here. That'll do it for today. Shout out to the Queen of Control, Sarah Bear, for rocking with us today and yesterday. Always a blast when you hang out with us, Sarah. Appreciate you.
Yes.
Follow the GOAT, Will_Gottlieb. Read his stuff, allchgo.com. Latest available for diehards only today. Asking a similar question about when ownership might look towards the Bulls and AK what this plan is and how successful it is or has not been. Allchgo.com is where you can get all the GOAT's reading. Become a diehard so you can read all of it. Big Dave Bow, BNWL Sports. Will_Gottlieb is the handle. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. Appreciate you, Bulls Nation. Hit the like on your way out if you haven't done it yet. We'll be back tomorrow. Bulls, Hornets. We'll be here for live post game. Until then, stay warm. T-Red, be good.
Love y'all, man.
Must lose.
We all silly.